Something major just happened in America and most people don't even realize it yet. While the country was celebrating the 4th of July, fireworks lighting up the skies, and families gathering for barbecues, President Donald Trump was in Washington, D.C., quietly signing a bill that could change the lives of millions. That's not exactly accurate. What's happening is that this new deduction, along with updated income thresholds, will result in most seniors no longer owing federal taxes on their Social Security benefits. That means if you bought a Toyota built in Kentucky, you might qualify, but if it was imported, you're out of luck. These deductions are available through 2028 and are clearly designed to help middle-income earners while promoting American manufacturing. Over $1 trillion in cuts are coming to Medicaid and the SNAP Food Assistance Program over the next decade. New rules will require stricter work requirements and tighter eligibility checks. That means millions of low-income Americans could lose access to health care or food benefits. Nonprofits and advocacy groups are already sounding the alarm, saying this bill could push the most vulnerable further into poverty. The bill raises the federal debt ceiling by $5 trillion. If you're a senior living on a fixed income, this might be the biggest break you've gotten in years. If you're a parent, a tipped worker, or a small business owner, there are new benefits coming your way. But if you rely on Medicaid, SNAP, or we're hoping for green energy rebates, this bill might leave you behind. We'll keep you updated on every payment rollout, deduction deadline, and benefit change coming out of Washington, because your money, your benefits, and your future matter now more than ever, according to the Congressional Budget Office. It will add over $3.3 trillion to the national deficit over the next 10 years. This is a massive, sweeping redefinition of tax, benefits, and budget priorities in America. Trump calls it beautiful. His base is calling it a victory. His opponents are calling it reckless. But now that it's law, the effects are coming fast. Republicans argue that tax cuts will stimulate growth and bring in more revenue. Democrats say this is fiscal irresponsibility on a massive scale. Either way, it's a gamble with the future of the economy. Well, while it's not a full repeal of the Social Security tax, it effectively shields many retirees from paying it altogether. EV tax credits, gone. Solar panel rebates, gone. The focus has shifted back to traditional energy and fossil fuel development, something Trump campaigned heavily on. Critics say this is a step backward in the fight against climate change. Supporters argue it's about protecting American jobs and lowering energy prices. The child tax credit is going up slightly from $2,000 to $2,200 per child and, starting next year,
Nice.
the government will launch something called Trump accounts. That includes more money for ICE, more technology along the southern border, and even funds for restarting wall construction. It's a huge boost to the military-industrial complex and a clear reflection of Trump's America First agenda. These are federally backed savings accounts for kids, and the government will deposit $1,000. For every eligible child born after January 1st, 2026, these accounts can be used later in life for things like college, housing, or retirement. Supporters say this is about helping families build generational wealth. Critics say it's another short-term gimmick. It's being called the One Big Beautiful Bill, and it's nearly 900 pages long. Supporters are calling it a game changer. Critics are calling it dangerous. But one thing is for sure, it's packed with sweeping changes that affect seniors, workers, families, and just about everyone in between. So what's really in this massive piece of legislation? Well, let's start with what's got seniors talking, the new $6,000 senior tax deduction. This deduction is available to anyone aged 65 and older and could wipe out federal taxes for millions of retirees. First off, the Trump-era tax cuts from 2017, which were originally set to expire, are now permanent. That means lower tax brackets and higher standard deductions are here to stay. Second, if you live in a high-tax state like California or New York, you'll notice a major change. The SALT deduction cap has been raised from $10,000 to $40,000, giving middle-income homeowners a massive write-off. For workers, there's also a temporary deduction for overtime pay and tips if you earn under $150,000, which could benefit millions of hourly and service industry employees. If you're filing jointly, that's $12,000 between you and your spouse. It begins phasing out for those making over $75,000 individually, or $150,000 as a couple, but estimates show that nearly 88% of seniors will still qualify. And that's not all. There's also a one-time $2,700 senior bonus. Heading to many older Americans this year, money that's meant to help offset inflation, rising medical costs, and higher utility bills. For many, it will feel like a much-needed raise after years of struggling on a fixed income. There's also talk about Trump eliminating taxes on Social Security entirely. But the bill doesn't stop at seniors. It also delivers some big changes for families and working Americans. There's also a new deduction for interest on auto loans, but only for vehicles assembled in the U.S. Families with children are also getting some support. But not everything in this bill is about giving. There are cuts, big ones. And then there's the environmental side. This bill repeals many of the green energy incentives that were passed under the Biden administration. On top of all that, the bill also allocates over $350 billion in defense and border enforcement funding. And how's all of this being paid for? That's the big question. So what does all of this mean for you? One thing is clear. This isn't just some routine piece of legislation. So the only question is, are you ready? If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to subscribe to your benefit buddy.